There are two ends of the yarn right now on the garment. One is at the base and one is around neckline. So I'll pull up a loop and cut this yarn and keep only this one. Now I will finish buttonhole strip with this first, then I'll do the line of single crochet around the base, then I'll do the button strip, and eventually I'll end up after doing collar. In the last video of making this shirt, we have come up to finishing the height. Now we'll start making neckline. To start making neckline, chain 1 and turn your work. Start making line of SC on the each DC. When you will come to this area, make 2 SCs in the space of each DC. I am at the end of second line of SC around the neckline. Chain 1, turn your work. Now this is the line where I will create buttonholes. The first buttonhole has to be around 2 inches from the start of this strip, because here till here it will get folded when the final collar will appear and the first button will come here. Then whatever distance we decide, you have to make the buttonholes equidistant. So buttonholes will be created by chain 3 and skip 3. I'm going to continue doing SC till first 3 clusters. To create a buttonhole, I'll chain 3 and skip 3 and continue making my line of SC. See, this is where I have created a buttonhole. My method of understanding the distances, I have left 4 spaces before I made the first buttonhole. Now I'll leave another 4 and I'll make a buttonhole here. Likewise, I will continue. So my trick to maintain the distance is maintaining 4 clusters in between. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 clusters I have left. Again, chain 3, skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and continue making line of SC. Now the simple trick to understand is, I have left 12 SCs in between. Each cluster will have 3 SC. So 4 clusters means 12 SCs I have left in between the 2 buttonholes. Likewise, I will continue. Totally, I have created 6 buttonholes on my strip. Now I have come till end. Chain 1 and turn your work. SC on SC. Now wherever I have left 3 chains for buttonhole, I am going to pull up 3 SCs. Now look at this. I have come to the space where I have left 3 chains. So 3 SCs in that space and continue the work. After having one more line of SC on this, my buttonhole will be strong and secure. Likewise, I'll continue the line, and the last line would be again line of SC, and I'll meet you when I come back here. This is how the buttonhole strip will look after finishing. Now I have come to the end of the strip and I want to continue doing line of SC. Trick to turn your work is SC, chain 1 and SC in the same space of the corner, and then continue doing SC all around. This will give the corner. See, this is how the point we get when we change the direction of the single crochet. Here I am maintaining chain 1 and turn your work, doing SCs from the very first stitch. I am done with both the sides. Now I have to start making the collar. Before I start with that, most importantly, I have to do the stitching part for both the shoulders. So I'll stitch the shoulders. I'll join them together by line of SC. Now, if you see this garment, it is going to have crisscross matching. So off-white color is going to be every time on the shoulder. So I'm going to do a line of SC with off-white color, and then I will start making the collar. Keep a little longer tail, make a moving knot, turn your garment outside in and start joining. Now here you can always see a single DC is matched with cluster of 3 DCs. Likewise, we are going ahead. First stitch is always with shorter tail. I am going to pick up 2 SCs in each DC space. See, this side I have a DC and this side I have a cluster. I have stitched both the shoulders and now I am ready to continue for the collar making. Chain 1 and SC in the same space, and likewise I have turned my work. In the first triangular space I am going to do 3 SCs. and here onwards I'll start picking up 3DC cluster in each space. This would be my first line of collar. I'm using all spaces. Don't worry about all the loose ends. We will eventually weave them in the end. So granny clusters all around the spaces of neckline. My trick for having a good fall for the collar is the space where I have joined front and back part. Here I will do 2 clusters separated by 1 chain in between. Just watch me doing it. Now I have come to the corner point of back side. Here I will do 2 clusters separated by 1 chain. So 3DC, 1 chain and 3DC in the same space. If you just make 1 cluster, then the collar kind of little pulls or doesn't fit well. This is my tweaking. Now again we are at the another corner of the back side. So 2 clusters here separated by 1 chain. 3DC, 1 chain and 3DC in the same space. And other part of the neck I will continue only in the spaces and will stop here. I'm not doing any cluster in the last cream color space. This side, if you see, I have done 3 single crochets and moved on. Here I'm not doing these 3 single crochets because I'll do it at the finishing line of the SC. Chain 2, turn your work and start doing cluster in the spaces. So I will continue with the pattern, 4 lines of cream color, 4 lines of green color and again 4 lines of cream color, and then I'll do the final finishing line of SC. This is how the collar will look after 12 lines. Now I need to do last line of SC around the collar, and this side I haven't done finishing part. So I'm going to pull up a loop, cut the yarn, and for one last time I'm going to attach the yarn here and start doing my line of SC all around the collar. we have done the finishing here. So to start with, in the first cluster I'll attach the yarn. Now this end we have to weave in while working itself. As I keep on telling you, I pull up only 2 SCs from each DC. Corners are always chain 1 and SC in the same space. My collar is ready. Right now I'm keeping buttonhole strip like this, but once I attach buttons, it will be open like this. In the end, if you want, you can just add 1 stitch here and keep the shape firm. This is the back side of my collar, and now you will understand how this adding extra loop has helped me to have a good finish around the neck. After neckline and collar is done, now last thing we need to do is the sleeve. This is how we have joined the shoulder portion, and this is the armhole on which we will work. Open armhole like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. In the 5th gap or in the 5th space from the shoulder seam, join the off-white color yarn, make a moving knot, pull up a loop, first stitch always with the shorter tail. Now here we will do chain 1 and we will start with granny stitch, granny cluster from the next space onwards. And if you are a passionate crocheter, I'm very sure you will not hesitate to frog at any and every level wherever you go wrong. So see this, my first line was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now second line is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and the last cluster will be in this chain 1 space here. Every time one cluster will grow. After the last cluster, chain 1 and single crochet in the next space, chain 2, single crochet in the next space and turn your work. Now look at this. This will be considered as our first DC in the cluster. So 2 more DCs in the chain 1 space, and we will continue with the pattern. Last cluster will be in this chain 1 space. So 3 DCs here. After the cluster, chain 1, single crochet in the next space, chain 2, single crochet in the next space and turn your work. Now this chain 2 is our first DC of the first cluster of the next line. So 2 more DCs. We are at the end of 4th row. After 1 chain, I'll single crochet in the next space. Now here I'll finish with both the threads and continue with only green. Further 4 lines will be in the green color, but we are not cutting off the off-white color. So I will weave in it, chain 2 and then single crochet in the next space, turn your work. This chain 2 is our first DC in the cluster. 2 DCs in the chain 1 space. This would be my first cluster, and then I'll continue the pattern. Just pay attention to start and the end portion. Rest is very simple granny cluster. Here in this chain 1 space, I will do my last cluster. Chain 1, single crochet in the next, chain 2, single crochet in the next and turn your work. This chain 2 is going to be your first DC, and in the first space do 2 more DCs. This is the first cluster, and continue the plan. This is your first cluster, and you can continue with your pattern. Now I'll show you here once again how I weave in the cream color. Last cluster will be in this chain 1 space. Chain 1, single crochet into next space, chain 2, single crochet into next space and turn your work. This will be your first DC. Add 2 more DCs and continue the pattern. Chain 1, single crochet in the next space. Now we have to change the color, so I'll complete the SC with both the colors and then continue with cream color. So chain 2. Now I will carry forward the green color. Chain 2, single crochet in the next space, turn your work. This chain 2 is your first DC in the cluster. 2 more DCs in the chain 1 space. And continue with the pattern. Now this time we are carrying forward the green yarn. This is second line in cream color. I will make my last cluster here, and now you will see how I close the loops and see, this is last cluster is done. Chain 1. Now single crochet in the next, chain 2 and single crochet in the next. Now this is start of our third line. This chain 2 is our part of first cluster. Please understand, now onwards there are no more spaces where I can continue making the sleeve. So this line I will join it here, and then onwards the sleeve will grow completely on the sleeve that we have developed till now. So just watch it very carefully. So third line, first cluster is done. I'll see you at the end of this line. Now if you look at this, we have come to the last working space from both the sides. Now chain 1 and slip stitch into the chain 1 space of starting of the line. Now we have to weave in this green color alongside. So chain 2 and turn your work. In this space we will be creating our first cluster. So this is the last increase, and we will continue with the pattern. Total we will have 19 clusters. After 19 clusters are done, chain 1 and we have to slip stitch into the very first DC of this line, and we have to change the color. Now we will be working in green color, but we are keeping the off-white color, so weave in and start working only in green color. Two more DCs in green color and continue with the pattern. One more green strip of 4 lines, and then last would be cream color. This is how the sleeve will look. The second strip in green color is over. Now I will chain one and slip stitch into the very first cluster. Here we can cut the green yarn and continue with cream color. Now 4 lines in cream color and a line of single crochet, and we are done with the sleeve. I'll show you how I weave in the ends. I'm done with the last cluster, and I will slip stitch into the very first DC. Line number 4 is over. Chain 1, turn your work. I will do the single crochet line all around, then pull up a loop, cut the yarn, and then I'll show you how I weave in all the ends. This would be the final line. Line of SC all around is done. Now I will slip stitch into the very first single crochet, pull up a loop and cut the yarn. This is how our sleeve looks. Likewise, do the second sleeve and our shirt will be ready. Now I will show you how I weave in the ends. For two colored garment, we have to ensure that green color is weaved in the green portion and cream color is weaved in the cream portion. My suggestion or my request to all of the crocheters is do not have only one darning needle. If you see 4 loose ends, I will recommend 4 darning needles. That way finishing will happen very quickly. Final finishing of the shirt will be done after putting the buttons. I have made 6 buttonholes, so I'm taking 6 buttons. Place the buttonhole strip on the button strip and see where your buttonhole is coming. My buttonhole is coming around the first line of this off-white or cream color cluster. So I will hold this position. I generally make 6 buttons for the garment and always stitch 1 button extra like all the brands give you. So 3 stitches in one direction, after that change the direction. 3 stitches in the vertical direction, and then we are done with the first button. It's very easy. This is the third and the last stitch, and again here also do not cut the yarn immediately after the knot. To be on safer side, make 2 knots and at least weave in the end for next 3-4 threads. So 3 stitches ahead, 1 stitch back, 3 stitch ahead, 1 stitch back. My other way of doing buttons is I do not cut the stitching yarn. So here is my first button. Now where comes the second button? It's again at the start of this row. So I will weave in this end till then. This becomes easy. Here we have to next make the next button. So 3 stitches horizontally and 3 stitches vertically. Very simple. Now 3 stitches vertical. Again, don't cut the yarn, keep on weaving in and move towards the next place where we will be putting our button. Look at the finish. I'm done with all the buttons. and additionally I have just put one stitch here so that the collar style looks amazing. I could figure out two different ways of tweaking shirt making, and soon I will upload the videos for that also. Do you know what is proudest moment of customization of garments? It's always putting your label onto it. After attaching the label, I am good to pack the order and dispatch it. Kindly like, share and subscribe to my channel. I will focus on more videos about customization of garments. Though I know in the process I will end up in designing few garments. This shirt I could figure out two ways to tweak. So I'll be uploading two more videos in the same series. Same type of shirt but done differently. Two more videos coming up this way, and few more designs for men's shirts are coming up. Label is attached. Now I am ready to pack my order and dispatch it.